I stepped off bus number 56 at the corner of Kedzie Avenue in Chicago, the late November chill clawing at my skin like 100 needles. Epstein-Barr had turned me into a walking corpse, sunken eyes, pale skin, each step heavy as if weighed down by sandbags. The doctor at the community clinic had just handed me the diagnosis paper, absolute rest for at least 6 weeks, accompanied by a pitying look. I clutched the prescription tightly in the pocket of my old hoodie, thinking of the top bunk bed, thinking of the fridge, where Mom always left me a portion of brownie. I just needed sleep. Just that. The white-painted wooden door of house number 4128 opened before I could even insert the key. Dad, Robert Thompson, stood there, his striped shirt rumpled tie, loosened as if he'd just come back from the insurance office. The faint smell of cigarette smoke, the kind he only smoked when stressed. "Come in, Emily," he said, his voice flat as reading a contract. I crossed the threshold, my soaked sneakers leaving dirt marks on the carpet Mom was so proud of buying on sale at Costco. The kitchen was lit by harsh neon lights. Mom, Linda, sat on one side of the oak table twisting a cup of cold coffee in her hands. Brandon, my brother, sat across from her, his blonde hair tousled, his brand new Stanford hoodie bright red. He grinned that grin that once made the Westinghouse High School football coach forgive every tardiness. I recognized this atmosphere. Family decision, the phrase my parents always used whenever someone was about to lose something. "Sit down," Mom ordered without looking up. I dropped my backpack on the floor, the zippers rasp sounding dry and harsh. "I just came from the doctor." I started, my voice hoarse from the sore throat. "He said I have Epstein-Barr. I need to rest." "It doesn't matter," Dad interrupted. He placed a thick stack of papers on the table, the 529 college fund documents that Grandma and Grandpa had set up for me since I was a baby. "We've thought it through carefully. Brandon's starting at Stanford next fall. Costs are higher than expected. We need all of this money." My heart plummeted. "But that's my fund. My name's on it as co-owner since I was 12. "You're on it because the law requires it," Mom said, finally looking up. Her blue eyes were icy. "But the money is the family's. And the family needs to invest in the one with the most potential." She pushed another paper toward Brandon. "Sign here, son. From now on, this fund is yours." Brandon took the pen and signed with a scrawl without even reading it. I heard my heart shatter. "What about me? I got early acceptance to U Chicago." "The scholarship only covers part, you don't need to worry," Dad said. "You're old enough to fend for yourself. This is the American dream, Emily. The strong ones rise." He opened the drawer and pulled out the keys to the 2012 Ford Focus, the car I'd washed every weekend in exchange for using it. "Brandon needs the car to get around between the dorm and the field." "You understand, right?" I shot up from my chair, which toppled with a crash. "I'm sick, I can't work part-time right now." "Don't make a scene," Brandon muttered, eyes glued to his phone. "You always like playing the victim." Mom stood up, walked to the fridge, and pulled out a black trash bag. "Your room will become Brandon's study. He needs quiet space." She opened the hallway closet door and stuffed my clothes into the trash bag like discarding old junk. "You have 10 minutes to pack." I bolted upstairs, legs trembling. The small, cute room with Hamilton posters and a bookshelf full of science fair trophies suddenly felt alien. I shoved my laptop, a few outfits, the prescription, and a box of tampons into my backpack. The phone in my pocket buzzed. "Sophia." I answered, whispering, "Sis, they're kicking me out." My sister's voice softened as if afraid someone might hear. Listen. I know Mom and Dad favor Brandon. But don't fight it. I'll send money when I get paid. Hang in there a few months, then I'll come get you." The call ended. No firm promise, no crying. Just a long beep. Dad appeared in the doorway, face darkened. "Time's up." He grabbed my wrist and dragged me down the stairs. Mom stood at the front door holding the trash bag of my stuff. Brandon lounged on the sofa, AirPods in, bobbing to music. I was shoved out onto the porch. The door slammed shut. Locked. The bolt clicked like a death sentence. I stood there, wind whipping my hair, snow flurrying down. Backpack heavy on my shoulders. Phone 50% battery. Wallet $12 and change. Prescription crumpled in my hand. I looked through the window. Brandon had settled into my old desk, flipping on the green LED lamp. Mom patted his shoulder, smiling. Dad went back to the kitchen and pulled a beer from the fridge. I turned away, descending the steps. My wet sneakers left footprints on the concrete. Ahead lay the dark stretch of Kedzie Avenue, the last bus gone. I checked Google Maps, the nearest subway station was 1.2 miles away. I pulled up my hoodie hood and started walking. Each step was a knife to the chest. Epstein Barr made me dizzy, but the anger was more terrifying. In my head, my parents' voices echoed, "The American dream is for the strong ones." I smirked my breath, turning to white vapor. They'd just handed that dream to Brandon, along with $50,000 a Ford Focus and the room with the cherry tree view. And me, I had 50% battery, $12 and a body falling apart. I didn't know where I'd sleep tonight. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring. But as my feet started to go numb from the cold, I realized one thing: they could steal the money, the car, the room. But they couldn't steal my brain. And that brain, I swore, would be what brought me back, not to beg but to reclaim it all. On my own terms. I stepped onto the cracked sidewalk of Kedzie Avenue, each footfall like treading on glass. Epstein Barr turned my bones to wet sand, but the rage kept me alive. The phone in my pocket buzzed faintly, 47%. I pulled it out, fingers trembling as I typed 24-hour diner near me into Google Maps. Results popped up: Denny's on North Milwaukee, 1.8 miles away. I shoved the phone back into my hoodie pocket, zipped it as high as it would go and walked. The yellow streetlights gleamed on frozen puddles, reflecting my face. Dark circles under my eyes, lips turning blue. The wind howled through the red brick Chicago buildings, carrying the scent of baked bread from the closed Polish bakery. I remembered the first time my parents called Brandon the family's future. I was 14, just winning first place in the regional science fair with a water filtration model made from recycled plastic bottles. Prize $2,000. I'd planned to buy a new bike, but Mom and Dad took it, saying Brandon wrecked his dirt bike at the pool party. Brandon grinned and said, "Thanks, little sis." I just nodded, swallowing my tears. The traffic light blinked red. I stopped, panting. A Ford F-150 pickup roared past, blasting rap music. I glanced at the license plate, BRNDN1, my heart clenched. No way. I looked closer, just a random plate. But the image of Brandon sitting in my old Ford Focus blasting Drake, mocking me, haunted me relentlessly. I reached Denny's at 11:47 p.m. The open 24/7's neon sign flickered weakly. Inside, the smell of fryer oil and burnt coffee. An older waitress with purple-dyed hair chewing gum eyed me up and down. "Alone, kiddo?" I nodded, pulling out my crumpled $12. "Black coffee, largest size you got?" She nodded, no more questions. I chose a booth in the corner by the window where I could see the street. The coffee arrived in a chipped ceramic mug, scorching my hands. I took a sip, bitter as poison. On the wall-mounted TV, an Allstate insurance ad played, "You're in good hands with Allstate," with images of a smiling white family beside a new SUV. I smirked, the laugh dry in my throat. "American dream," I muttered. "Yeah, dream on." Memories crashed over me like a wave. I was 12, Sophia 16. Brandon had broken Grandma's antique vase. Mom cried, Dad flew into a rage. Sophia jumped in, hugging me, yelling. It wasn't Emily's fault. Brandon did it. Mom and Dad went silent. Then Mom said, "Sophia, you're old enough, don't defend your sister anymore. Brandon's the boy, he needs protecting." Sophia let go of me, eyes red. From then on, she spoke less, smiled less. When she moved out at 20, she just said, "I can't stay here anymore, Em. But I'll always love you." I pulled out my phone, battery at 38%. I texted Sophia, "Sis, I'm at Denny's. They really kicked me out." Message sent, 3 dots flashing, then nothing. No reply. I stared at the dark screen, tears rolling down. "Sophia, where are you when I need you most?" Outside, a squad car drove by, lights flashing blue and red. I flinched, hunching down. Real fear started to creep in. I had nowhere to go. No friends close enough to call at midnight. Mia, my best friend, was in the dorms at University of Illinois, 2 hours by train. I couldn't bother her. I checked my wallet, $9 left after paying for coffee. Enough for a $2 sandwich at 7-Eleven or a one-way subway fare. I opened the transit app, checking the night train lines. The last one to downtown left the station in 22 minutes. I stood up, head spinning. The waitress eyed me, her gaze softening. "Be careful, kiddo. It's freezing out there tonight." I nodded, saying nothing. On the way to the subway stop, I passed a public trash can. Inside, a tattered poster, "Stanford University, where future leaders are made." I stopped staring. Brandon would be there sleeping in a warm dorm, eating in the cafeteria, using my money to buy beer for his buddies. And me, I was walking in -5 degrees Celsius cold with 38% battery and a body about to collapse. I laughed, this time for real, though bitterly. American dream. They were right. It wasn't something handed to you. It was something you had to steal back. And I would steal it back. At any cost. I stepped into the subway station, cold wind blasting up from the tunnel. The train arrived, doors opening. I boarded, finding an empty seat. The phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Emily, this is Mia. Sophia just called me. I'm on my way to Union Station. Don't go anywhere. I clutched the phone to my chest, tears streaming. Maybe I wouldn't freeze to death tonight. Maybe tomorrow I'd start rebuilding. But first, I needed to survive the night. I woke up on a bench in Grant Park, neck, stiff breath, turning to white vapor. The pale November sun in Chicago filtered through the bare oak branches. Epstein Bar made my body feel like it had been run over by a truck, head pounding like a hammer, joints rusted shut. I'd slept, or tried to, here for the second night. The first night in a broken lock public restroom near Union Station, reeking of ammonia. Tonight I chose the bench because at least it had streetlight. The phone in my hoodie pocket buzzed faintly, 12% battery. I pulled it out, the screen cracked from dropping it last night. Text from Mia. Just got off shift. Where are you? I texted back, fingers shaking. Grant Park. Near the Buckingham Fountain. I didn't tell her about the last 2 days eating $2 sandwiches at 7-Eleven, drinking restroom tap water, wiping my face with paper towels. I didn't tell her about the fever that had me curled up in a borrowed sleeping bag from a donation bin. A silver 2008 Honda Civic pulled up sharply at the park entrance. Mia stepped out, ponytail high, old North Face jacket, holding a Panera Bread bag. She ran over and hugged me tight. Oh my God, Emily, you look like a zombie. I forced a smile, tears flowing. Thanks for coming. Mia pulled me into the car, cranking the heat to max. I got turkey sandwich and pumpkin soup. Eat. I took the spoon, hands shaking so much the soup sloshed. Mia looked at me, eyes red. Sophia called me. She said your parents are crazy. But she can't come yet. She's scared they'll cut her off. I nodded, swallowing tears with the soup. She's always scared of rocking the family boat. Mia drove south through the vibrant Mexican murals of Pilsen. Her apartment was on the 3rd floor of an old brownstone, faint smells of fried onions and tacos wafting from the hallway. Only one bedroom, Mia said, unlocking the door. But the sofa's yours. I got an electric blanket and pain meds. The tiny apartment was cozy, walls hung with Polaroid photos, bookshelves full of YA novels, and a tabby cat named Taco yawning on the armchair. Mia made up the sofa with sheets fluffed a pillow. I work late shifts at the Italian place. You rest. Tomorrow I'll introduce you to my crew. I lay down the sofa, soft as heaven. Mia tucked me in, whispering, you're tougher than you know, Emily. Don't let them destroy you. The next morning I woke to the smell of coffee and fried dumplings. Mia had left for work with a note, breakfast fridge has Chobani yogurt. 6 p.m. I'll take you to meet the gang. I ate the dumplings, took my meds, and for the first time in 3 days showered. The hot water melted the bone-deep cold. I looked at myself in the steamed-up mirror, eyes still shadowed but a spark returning. At 6 p.m., Mia took me to El Mezcal Bar in Pilsen. Inside, it was noisy reggaeton blasting, smells of tequila and fresh lime. Mia introduced me, this is Emily, my bestie from Westinghouse days. She's in need of a new family. The crew was a rainbow: Jamal, black programmer from the South Side working at a fintech startup, Rosa, Puerto Rican artist doing murals, and Diego, Mexican chef studying at community college. They hugged me, no prying questions. Jamal slid a margarita my way. Welcome to real Chicago, Hermana. No judgments here. Rosa shared how she'd been kicked out for pursuing art. My family said art wasn't a job. I proved them wrong by selling pieces to a Wicker Park gallery. Diego boomed a laugh, I cooked to pay tuition. Mom brags about her chef son now. I gave the short version, parents kicked me out to favor my brother. No one was shocked. Jamal nodded, classic golden child syndrome. My cousin's the same. Rosa squeezed my shoulder, you've got us now. Need anything, say the word. That night I slept on the sofa to the thump of music from the bar below. The phone buzzed. Sophia calling. I answered, voice raspy, sis. Emily. Her voice cracked. I'm sorry. I called Mia. I. I was scared they'd cut my rent money. I promise I'll send cash, but I can't confront them directly. I'm too weak. I stayed silent. I know I messed up. But I'll check on you. I'll be here even if just by phone. I hung up staring at the cracked ceiling. Sophia was still distant, but at least she'd spoken up. I closed my eyes thinking of my new crew. Jamal had given me a free Coursera account. Rosa promised to teach me drawing for stress relief. Diego left a box of leftover tacos. This wasn't blood family, but it was my chosen one. I realized inner strength didn't come from fighting Epstein-Barr but from accepting I deserved love. Mia was right. I was tougher than I thought. And I wouldn't let anyone destroy that anymore. I started working after 3 weeks flat on Mia's sofa. Epstein-Barr still tormented me, night fevers aching joints, but utility bills didn't wait. Mia hooked me up with the 7-Eleven manager at Logan Square corner night shift 10 p.m. 6 am $15 divided by hour cash on weekends. I donned the green uniform, learned to mix Slurpees and deal with drunk customers. Every card swipe reminded me of the $50,000 now in Brandon's Stanford account. Day shift started at 8 a.m. at the Amazon warehouse in Cicero, 22 miles from Logan Square. I dozed on the Blue Line subway head against the fogged window. The job pick orders pack boxes label, $14 divided by hour, no insurance. I worked like a robot scanning barcodes, pushing carts, dodging shift leads' glares. At day's end, I dragged home to Mia's, slept 3 hours, then back to 7-Eleven. Depression crept in quietly. I didn't cry anymore, tears were gone. I just felt empty. Every night behind the counter, I'd watch homeless folks wheel shopping carts in for beer cans, wondering how different I was from them. I stopped checking mirrors. I stopped dreaming of college. I just existed. Then I met Alex Rivera. It was a Tuesday day shift, the Amazon warehouse drowning in scanner beeps and forklift hums. I was packing Nike shoes when a tall Hispanic man in a Carhartt jacket approached. Emily, right, I'm Alex B. shift supervisor. His voice was warm with a Texas twang. Heard you're pulling doubles. Watch for burnout. I nodded, saying nothing. Alex eyed me longer than necessary. You've got the eyes of someone who used to ace tests. What are you doing here? I gave a thin smile. Family. Had other plans. Alex nodded, no follow-up. End of shift, he called me to the container office. Listen, Chica. I used to code in Austin. For a logistics software startup. Then divorce booze lost the job. Now I'm here. But I still code. Every night. He opened an old laptop, VS Code on screen. Wanna learn? Coursera's free. Public libraries got computers. I stared at the screen, heart racing. I can't afford courses. Coursera audits are free. Just need an email. Alex scribbled the Harold Washington Library address. Thursdays, 7 p.m. 3rd floor. Meet me there. I showed up on time. Alex had a computer reserved. He logged into Coursera, picked Python for everybody from University of Michigan. Start here. 1 module a week. I'll check your work. He handed me a 16 gigabytes USB. Full resources. No internet needed at home. I learned like a drowning person grabbing a life raft. Every night after 7-Eleven I'd crash at Mia's, plug the USB into her old laptop, code till 4 a.m. My first syntax error made me cry. But when Hello World ran I laughed, the first time in 3 months. Alex became my mentor. Every Thursday, he'd review assignments, fix bugs, share stories. I coded a warehouse tracking system for that startup. Sold for $2 million. Now I teach you for free. He didn't pity. He believed. Sophia started texting. At first, just, you okay, then longer. Saw you on Mia's LinkedIn. Learning code, I'm so proud. One night she called. I just heard Brandon bragging about buying a new car with your fund money. I didn't say anything. I'm such a coward. I stayed quiet. But I'll follow your progress. I'll be your witness. When you succeed, I'll tell the whole world. Code became therapy. Every line was a brick rebuilding my self-worth. I learned lists, dictionaries, APIs. I wrote small scripts automating packing at the warehouse. Alex tested one, saved 15 minutes per shift. He clapped my shoulder. Knowledge isn't something anyone can steal, Chica. Build it. I started dreaming again. Not of you, Chicago, but Silicon Valley. I set up a GitHub, pushed my first project, a Telegram bot for shift reminders. Alex commented. Good job. Next web app. Depression lingered but smaller. Every night at 7-Eleven I no longer stared at the homeless. I checked my phone. Coursera alert. Module 3 completed. I smiled. Brandon could have Stanford the car, the room. But I had code. And code never betrayed. One Saturday morning after an Amazon shift, Alex called me to the parking lot. I know a guy at Apex Innovations San Francisco. AI logistics startup. They need an intern. Unpaid but. He handed me a paper. This email. Send your portfolio. I'll write a rec letter. I took the paper, hands shaking. Thank you. Alex grinned, eyes crinkling. Don't thank me. Just don't quit. You're your own future. I got home to Mia's fired up the laptop. I drafted the application email. Subject: Junior Developer Application. Emily Thompson. Attached: GitHub, Alex's rec, and a PDF security vuln analysis on Apex's site I'd spotted during a trial audit. I hit send at 3 a.m. Phone buzzed. Text from Sophia: saw the email you sent. I'm crying. You did it. I closed my eyes. Depression still whispered, but this time I had an answer. Hello world. I left Chicago on an April morning when the last snow melted into dirty puddles on the sidewalks. Luggage: an old rolling suitcase, Dell 2015 laptop, and $1,200 saved from 2 jobs. Mia drove me to O'Hare, eyes red. San Francisco's lucky to have you, she said, hugging me goodbye. I boarded the Southwest flight, seat 28C, watching the city shrink below. I didn't look back. San Francisco greeted me with fog and sea salt. I rented a corner room in a 3-person apartment in the Mission District, $900 divided by month, sharing a bathroom with an Indian programmer and a Filipino bartender. Mia had moved a month ahead. She was now lead barista at Phil's Coffee in Soma, salary just scraping by. This place is ours, she declared, making up the fold-out sofa. You code, I brew. Deal, I nodded. Deal. The San Francisco Public Library on Larkin Street became my second office. I'd arrive at 9 a.m., leave at 9 p.m., breaking only for $6 burritos at La Taqueria. I finished Python, moved to JavaScript, then Node. JS, React, and AWS. Coursera free code camp. The Odin project, I devoured it all. Every week I'd push a new project to GitHub. Week 1, CLI tool for warehouse management, using fake Amazon data. Week 3, real-time order tracking web app with Express Plus Socket.io. Week 6, full-stack logistics dashboard, React front-end, Flask back-end, PostgreSQL database on free Heroku. I named the main repo Logiflow, a supply chain management app for small businesses. Clean responsive UI, with inventory forecasting via simple linear regression. I wrote a detailed README, added screenshots, a YouTube demo video. Alex texted from Chicago, proud of you, Chica. This is hireable. I applied to 47 companies in 3 months. 44 instant rejections. 3 online interviews. No offers. I didn't stop. I joined Women Who Code meetups in Dogpatch, a 48-hour hackathon at General Assembly, and pitched Logiflow to 60 people at the SF Tech Crawl event. A VC asked, no degree, I replied. Because I have a working product and I can maintain it at 3 a.m. if the server crashes. He laughed, handed me his card. Sophia visited in July, flying United from Chicago. She wore a maxi dress, hair with highlights, but her eyes still carried old guilt. We sat in Dolores Park eating Byright ice cream, watching hipsters toss frisbees. Sophia spoke first. Brandon is blowing it all. I raised an eyebrow. He got kicked out of the Stanford dorm for partying too hard. Mom and Dad had to pay a $5,000 fine. Now he's in a frat house using your fund money for keg beer and Coachella tickets. GPA 1.8. Mom says he needs time to find himself. Sophia forced a smile. Meanwhile, I saw you on LinkedIn, 15 projects, 3 tech blog posts, and a meetup talk. I regret not speaking up sooner, Em. I looked at her, wind tousling our hair. You see it right, this whole society's the same. Boys get to find themselves on someone else's dime. Girls start from zero, then get asked no degree. I gestured at the park crowd. Look. 80% of startup founders here are white guys, Stanford or Ivy grads. They call it meritocracy. But their merit starts with a 529 fund from parents, a car at 18, and alumni network. Us, we start from friends' sofas and public libraries. Sophia bowed her head. I know. I used to think silence kept the peace. Now I see silence is complicity. I put a hand on her shoulder. You've spoken up now. That's enough. That night Sophia crashed on the sofa, me on an air mattress. She watched me debug a Logiflow bug till 2 a.m. I don't get code, she said, but I get you're building something bigger than yourself. Before heading back to Chicago, she left $300 and a promise, I'll tell your story to friends, coworkers, anyone who still thinks women should be grateful to stay home. I kept going. I added AI to Logiflow. Demand forecasting with the Profit Library. I blogged how I self-taught full stack in 6 months without a CS degree, 100,000 views in the first week. I spoke at a Black Girls Code workshop. I turned down Mia's offer for a full-time barista gig. I need you coding, not brewing, she laughed. In September, an email from Apex Innovations popped up, subject interview invitation, junior developer role, from Victoria Lee, CTO. I opened it, heart pounding. They'd spotted Logiflow in a top 10 open source logistics projects list on Hacker News. They wanted an in-person interview. Date Friday next week. Location Dogpatch HQ. I called Alex first. I did it. He laughed over the line, told you, chica. Knowledge can't be stolen. I called Sophia next. She cried. I'll buy a ticket to watch you interview. I want to be the witness. I looked out the window, sunset dyeing San Francisco Bay red. Brandon might be blackout drunk in a Palo Alto frat house. Me, I had Logiflow, a 22-project portfolio community, and an interview that could change everything. The family sexism was just a microcosm of society. But I wasn't the 8-year-old girl kicked out anymore. I was Emily Thompson, self-taught developer, open source contributor, and the one who'd make Silicon Valley rethink merit. I closed the laptop, stood up. Tomorrow, I'd wear my only blazer, take Caltrain to Dogpatch, and show them the future didn't need a 529 fund to start. I arrived at Apex Innovations HQ at 8:47 a.m. Friday, 13 minutes early. The low-rise glass building in Dogpatch gleamed in the morning sun, the Apex, AI for supply chain logo bold on the revolving door. I wore my Soul H&M blazer, a second-hand Zara pencil skirt, and white sneakers washed last night. In hand USB with Logiflow and a printed portfolio, 22 pages CVS cardstock cover. The waiting area smelled of blue bottle coffee. I sat across from a pixel art mural of self-driving trucks. A short-haired Asian woman with purple streaks emerged. Emily Thompson, Victoria Lee here. I stood, shook her hand. Firm grip, black polished nails. Follow me. The glass-walled conference room overlooked the bay. Victoria sat, opened her MacBook Pro. Alex Rivera emailed a rec. I read it. But I want to hear it from you. She slid a coffee cup my way. No BS. Spill. I breathed deep. I self-taught full stack in 6 months. No degree, no network. But I have a running product, open source, and a security audit on Apex's site I found last week. I plugged in the USB, opened the PDF. 3 vulns SQL injection on divided by API, divided by inventory endpoint XSS in the feedback form, cores misconfig on staging subdomain. Included POC, and proposed patches. Victoria arched a brow, scrolling fast. Arrogant. But accurate. She typed, slacking someone. DevSec, check this now. She eyed me. You audited our site uninvited. I audit every company I apply to. If they hate it, I learn something. If they like it, I shrugged. Victoria laughed, first time. Girl, you're hungry for success. That's what I need. She stood, leading me to the open space floor. This is the AI logistics team. 15 people, average 2.3 years experience. You'll be junior dev, $85K salary, 0.1% equity, hybrid, remote. Start Monday. Deal, I blinked. Deal. I signed the offer letter right at reception. Victoria clapped my shoulder. Don't make me regret it. That night back at Mia's, I screamed in the kitchen. Mia was mixing mojitos. You did it. We popped $8 Trader Joe's fake champagne. I updated LinkedIn, junior developer at Apex Innovations, AI supply chain. Within 5 minutes notification, Sophia Thompson reacted, chore to your update. Sophia called instantly. I'm at O'Hare. Saw the LinkedIn. You did it. Her voice broke. I'm so proud. I'll tell everyone. Coworkers, friends, even mom and dad if they listen. I laughed through tears. Thanks for being the witness. The next week I dove into networking like a fish to water. Tuesday SF Python meetup at WeWork Soma, I demoed Logiflow scored cards from 3 recruiters. Thursday Women in AI happy hour at Thirsty Bear, met Flexport's CTO, got a coffee invite next week. Sunday 24-hour hackathon at Galvanize, our team placed second with an ML prototype predicting port congestion, post-hit Hacker News 1200 upvotes. Victoria became a real mentor. Every Friday she'd drag me to a conference room. What you learned this week? I'd report Terraform Kubernetes GraphQL. She'd nod. Good. Next week deploy Logiflow to production for beta client. Don't screw it up. I didn't. The client, an Oakland logistics firm, cut order processing time 12% in 2 weeks. Victoria slacked the whole company, shout out to Emily. Shipped MVP in 10 days. Sophia screenshotted it, posted to Instagram story, my little sis is changing the world. Number proud sister. I bought a tiny studio in Outer Sunset, $1,800 divided by month, ocean view, desk facing the waves. I hung photos of Sophia, Mia, Alex on the wall. Every night I'd code late waves crashing below. Brandon might be wasted at Stanford. Me, I had equity, a mentor, a living product and a future I wrote myself. 3 years flew by like an optimized code loop, debug, deploy, scale. I started at Apex with a corner desk and junior badge. Now my badge read Senior AI Engineer, Logistics Optimization, lead with a glass-walled office bay view and a 12-person team reporting to me. Base salary $195,000 plus bonus and vested equity enough for a 1-bedroom in Noe Valley, big windows, oak floors, quartz counters. I hung photos of Sophia, Mia, Alex on the wall next to a Crystal Employee of the Year award. Victoria Lee was the architect of it all. She didn't mentor soft, she was a compiler, spotting bugs, optimizing, shoving me out of comfort zones. Every quarter new KPIs: Q1 cut latency 40%, Q2 onboard Fortune 500 client. Q3 publish NeurIPS paper. I nailed them. My team built Apex Flow v3, an AI system forecasting supply chain bottlenecks at 94% accuracy, slashing average client ops costs by $1.2 million divided by year. Victoria pitched me to the board. Emily's why we're market leaders, but Silicon Valley wasn't all shine. Sexism leaked in subtle as a memory leak. During a Sequoia VC demo, a male partner asked, "You sure this algorithm isn't from some guy on your team?" I smiled, pulling up the benchmark slide. I'm lead author, 78% codebase commits. Want the logs? Room went quiet. Victoria slacked later. Good kill. Once a senior engineer, male, Stanford CS, snarked in all hands. This microservice idea is too complex for a small team. Victoria cut in, you mean too complex for you. Since Emily deployed it for 3 major clients, I learned to clap back data results, icy smile. Sophia became my top cheerleader. She'd fly in quarterly bringing homemade brownies and lingering guilt. First time in the new apartment she stood in the living room, eyes tearing. You bought a place here. On your own. She set a gift box on the table, a Pandora bracelet engraved. From zero to Apex. Inside a handwritten note: I witnessed you from zero to now. Right, I'm sorry for staying silent. Now I'll shout it to the world. We dined at the Vietnamese spot on Valencia. Sophia shared Brandon got expelled from Stanford after junior year. 1.6 gigapascals failed credits. Mom and dad shelled out $20,000 to transfer him to community college back home. Mom says Brandon needs healing time. Dad's grumpy, the funds drained. Sophia took my hand, want partial forgiveness, not for them but for you. I gazed out the window, neon lights reflecting on glass. Sis, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. I forgive to cut the chains. But I won't invite them into this new home. Sophia nodded, eyes brightening. She started posting LinkedIn stories. My sister, from homeless at 18 to senior AI engineer in Silicon Valley. Number women in tech, number self-made. Post hit 5000 reactions. Recruiters DM'd coffee chats. Sophia texted, I'm witnessing now. Sexism clashes kept coming. At a team offsite, a drunk male engineer joked Emily hit senior, so fast must be. Diversity quota. I stood quotas don't write 40000 clean code lines don't save clients $1.2 million. My results are on the dashboard. Want a benchmark? Victoria clapped mic drop. End of year 3 Apex IPO'd. My equity papered at $450,000. Victoria pulled me into a conference room. Board wants you as director of AI logistics. $280K base 1% equity. Ready? I nodded. Born ready. That night on my balcony overlooking Golden Gate lights, Sophia video called just saw the IPO on Bloomberg. You're paper millionaire bound, I laughed. You witnessed from zero to here, right? Sophia teared up proud to the point of insanity. I hung up, opened my laptop. Email from new client, $50 million contract me leading. I typed reply, on it. Sexism family past, all just noise. I'd compiled my own 3 version. I sat in my glass office at Apex, third Tuesday of October, afternoon sun, glinting off the 34-inch monitor. New project: a Midwest logistics firm wanted full system modernization from warehousing to last-mile delivery. They didn't trust internal HR, so outsourced mid-level management hiring to Apex. I was lead. Draft JD, screen resumes, interview, deliver, shortlist. Candidate portal live. 312 profiles. I filtered. Quick is greater than 3 years XP, SQL, divided by Python skills, no gaps is greater than 6 months. At profile 187 I froze. Name Brandon Thompson. Email bthompson95@stanford.edu. My heart hammered. Resume short, pathetically so. Stanford University, Business Administration, 2.5 gigapascals, late grad 2022. Assistant Manager, Dick's Sporting Goods, 7 months, managed schedules. Intern, Thompson Insurance, Dad's Firm, summer 2021. Gap 2022 hasta 2024. Personal development, networking. No projects, no tech skills, no certs. I snorted. Brandon applied because mom and dad pushed. Get a job, money's gone. I figured. They had no clue Apex was mine. I didn't reject outright. I opened the calendar, slotted Monday 10 a.m., room 4B. Assigned interviewer Emily Thompson, Director of AI Logistics. Internal note: high priority candidate, full technical assessment. No questions. That night, FaceTime with Sophia. She was in her Chicago apartment, old sweater on. Sis, Brandon applied to my project lead. Resumes a disaster. Sophia gaped. For real? Mom and dad probably forced him. They said stable job before Christmas. I scheduled him for interview next week. I'll handle it myself. Sophia paused 3 seconds. Revenge. No. I met the camera. Not revenge, justice. I'll use the process I built, fair, data-driven, no bias. Sophia nodded slow. I'll witness. If needed, I'll fly out. Record video, whatever. I sent her the JD and scoring rubric files. Read up. He'll bomb technical, no meddling needed. Sophia texted right after hang up. Booked ticket. Arrive Sunday. I'll park at Phil's across from Apex live stream if you say. Number witness mode. I laughed. First of the day. Brandon thought he was job applying. Really, he was walking into his final exam. Monday, 9/5, 5 a.m. I sat in room 4B, frosted glass door, sunlight on the whiteboard scrawled with flowcharts. On the table, scoring rubric: Brandon's colored resume, iPad mini, link to Zoom, camera off, mic muted, single account S, Thompson, witness. Sophia was at Phil's across the street, AirPods in, ready to record. Door opened. Brandon entered, rented gray suit, crooked tie, hair slicked too hard. He gave a perfunctory smile, hand out, hi, I'm, then froze. Eyes wide, face ashen. Emily, I didn't rise. Welcome, Mr. Brandon Thompson. Have a seat. Let's begin. My voice even professional, like the 100th candidate. Brandon plopped down, fists clenched. What is this joke? I'll tell HR. No HR here, I said, sliding the rubric his way. This is Apex's process for junior project manager, logistics. 60 minutes. 4 sections: experience, technical, case study, Q&A. Starting now. Brandon stammered, You can't. Section 1. Experience. Me, walk me through key KPIs as assistant manager at Dick's Sporting Goods. Brandon, scheduled shifts, inventory checks, I noted vague. No metrics. What percent revenue lift under your shifts? Brandon silent 8 seconds. I don't remember. Section 2, technical. I projected a slide warehouse system diagram. How would you optimize this with a $50K budget? Brandon stared. Use Excel. Me specifics. Brandon. You know I didn't study tech. Voice pitching high. Section 3. Case study. Me client loses 12% inventory to bad forecasting. How do you handle? Brandon. Hire more people. I noted. Fail. Brandon slammed the table. Enough, you're jealous of me forever. I'm your brother. I looked up. Voice cool. Jealous of what I built. My future. You 2.5 gigapascals 2-year gap. No skills. You're here because mom and dad pushed, not merit. Brandon bolted up. I'll call dad. I'll sue the company. You'll lose your job. I tapped the iPad. Unmuted Sophia. Sophia, clear over speaker. I saw it all. He deserves this lesson. Brandon whipped around. Face ghost white. Sophia. Me recording and videos saved. Feel free to complain, with this evidence. Brandon lunged for the door. Shoulder slamming glass. Door banged shut. I opened the file. Status rejected, not qualified. Hit submit. Sophia texted instantly, crying, laughing at Phil's. Justice 10/10, 10:15 a.m. Monday. I just submitted. Brandon's reject when my phone blew up. MOM on screen. I let it ring, then powered off. 1022 internal Slack pinged. Security. Mr. Robert Thompson at lobby demanding to see Director Emily Thompson. Highly agitated. I breathed deep. Slacked. Victoria. Family issue. My dad. Lobby. Victoria replied. On my way. Grab coffee. My dad, Robert. Paced the glass lobby, face beet red, shirt wrinkled, tie askew. Guards flanked at distance. Emily, he bellowed as he spotted me. Get out here now. Victoria strode up, first heels, clicking marble. Who are you? Her father. Robert Thompson. That girl's sabotaging her brother. Victoria smiled. Frost. You think you can bully here like at home? This is Apex Innovations, not your backyard. Dad jabbed at me. She failed. Brandon. Out of personal grudge, I demand her fired. Now I handed the iPad. Rubric notes. Interview video. Brandon scored under 3/10 criteria. Fair process. Client approved. Dad snatched the iPad, hurled it to the floor, screen shattered. Guards advanced. Victoria raised a hand. Call cops. Trespassing plus property damage. Dad roared. I'll sue. I know people on the board. Victoria. Great. Our lawyers are free. You got 30 seconds to leave or handcuffs. Dad glared at me, last eyes blazing. You'll regret this. Then spun, stormed the revolving door. Victoria picked up the cracked iPad, handed it over. Cloud backups got it. Back to office. I powered on my phone. 2-7 missed from mom. I called back. Jennifer. Emily Thompson. Mom shrieked. What did you do to your brother? I interviewed him. He failed. Failed? He's your brother. You should have given him the job. No. This is a company, not our house. Mom sobbed. Your dad's heading home. He'll call your boss. Already did. And got ejected. I hung up. Sophia texted. Heard it all through Brandon's speakerphone. I'll testify if they sue. Send lawyer bills my way. That afternoon, email from Dad's insurance firm. Subject: early retirement notice. Robert Thompson. Reason: conduct unbecoming following client complaint. Republic disturbance at partner firm. A major client of theirs, Apex's logistics partner, had seen Dad's lobby meltdown via security livestream. Word spread in the industry. Thompson Insurance lost $7 million contract over Dad's meltdown. Evening. Sophia video called. She sat at the airport, suitcase beside. Booked the earliest flight. Land 6 a.m., bringing brownies and a family lawyer. Contract friends. They can't touch you. I smiled, weary. Thanks for witnessing. Sophia winked. Even lightly live streamed Dad getting bounced. Save to my vault. Victoria knocked my office door. 2 Phil's cups in hand. Cops confirmed Dad's trespass warning. No lawsuit shot. She raised her cup to justice and family drama. I clinked. To justice. The Next Gen Tech Leaders Gala was at Palace Hotel Grand Ballroom, San Francisco. 7:30 p.m. Friday. Crystal chandeliers, champagne clink, scents of Crete cologne and cash. I wore a black side-slit dress, white blazer badge. Director of AI Logistics, Apex Innovations. Sophia flew from Chicago beside me in a burgundy dress, shoulders touching. Victoria introduced me on stage. Emily Thompson, who took Apex Flow from idea to $50 million revenue in 18 months. I launched my 5-minute talk on AI supply chain forecasting. Mid-final slide, ballroom doors burst open. Mom, Dad, and Brandon stormed in. Dad in an old suit, Mom in outdated evening gown, Brandon in a wrinkled button-down. Guards hadn't blocked yet. Dad bellowed, "Emily, apologize and give Brandon the job now." Room fell silent. 300 VIPs, CEOs, VCs, journalists, turned. Sophia gripped my hand, whispering, "Now's the time." I stepped off stage, mic still in hand. "Folks, pardon the interruption. This is my family. And this is the real story." I told it, voice booming through the ballroom. At 18 I was kicked out for Epstein-Barr sickness. They took my $50,000 college fund Ford Focus bedroom, handed it all to my brother Brandon for his deserving future. I started from a friend's sofa, public library, double shifts. Now I stand here leading a $50 million project. I pointed at Brandon, 2.5 gigapascals, 2-year gap, no skills. Today he applied, I interviewed, he failed. They came demanding I fix the score. Guests gaped. Sophia joined Oxmic. "I'm Sophia, big sister. I witnessed the revenge and I'm proud. I stayed silent once. Now I say Emily built her future with her hands. They don't get to wreck it." Dad lunged. "You're lying." Mom wailed. "Ungrateful child." Brandon hung back pale. I faced them. "You gave him everything but forgot to teach him how to hold it." Victoria signaled. Guards swarmed, one arm each on Mom and Dad. Dad thrashed, "I'll sue Victoria." Cool, trespass warnings active. Second time's cuffs. They were dragged out. Doors slammed. Brandon didn't follow. He stood amid the ballroom, trembling. "Sis, you and she are right. I'm sorry." Voice small, first real sincerity. "I didn't know you were sick. They said you left for drama." I approached, voice low. "Want to fix it? Quit booze. Start entry level. After 6 months, still employed, text me. Otherwise don't show." Brandon nodded, eyes red. "I'll try." I turned away. Sophia hugged me. Proud to tears. Room erupted in applause. Victoria took the stage. "That's the grit we hire at Apex." My speech went viral on Twitter. Number from 0 to director. Mom and Dad permanent, no contact. Brandon texted after 3 months, warehouse associate in Chicago. Still got the job. I replied, "Keep going." Sophia stayed a week helping unpack my new place. I cut off Mom and Dad. "From now, just us." I nodded. Justice done. Reconciliation only for those who fix wrongs. 2 years post-gala, I stood on stage at TechCrunch Disrupt Conference, San Francisco, white blazer, wireless mic. Crowd below 2000 strong, flashes popping. Victoria introed Emily Thompson, VP of AI Logistics at Apex, just inked a $120 million deal with the West's largest supermarket chain. Thunderous claps. Front row, Sophia, Mia, Alex and Brandon, first time in a crisp suit, no beer breath. The deal capped 18 months work. Apex Flow V5 real-time demand AI cutting food waste 28%. Board promoted me to VP yesterday. $420K base, 0.8% equity. Noe Valley apartment now had a dedicated office, glass walls overlooking a backyard garden. I hung Brandon's photo, getting Employee of the Month at UPS Chicago warehouse, 8th straight month. That night, we celebrated at the Vietnamese on Valencia. Sophia toasted, "To my little sis, from sofa to VP." Brandon grinned awkward. "To my little sis, who gave me a second shot." I clinked. "To all of us." Brandon shared, started as warehouse associate, $19 divided by hour, night shifts. First 6 months, nearly quit from exhaustion. I texted, "Message after 6 if you're still working." He did. Now shift lead, online supply chain cert in progress. "I'm no frat boy anymore," he said. "I know how to hold what I build." Sophia relocated to San Francisco, education advisor at Mission High. She runs from homeless to hired workshops. My story featured me as guest speaker. We cut Mom and Dad fully, no contact, no money, no apology. They rattle in the old house. Dad early retired, Mom in multi-level marketing. Last news, Dad lost a big contract over personal reputation. No pity from me. I reflect each morning, jogging, ocean beach waves splashing my shoes. The American dream isn't a 529 fund, not Stanford, not an 8-year-old car. The future isn't handed, it's self-built. Society still favors boys find themselves on others' tabs, girls prove double. But I'm living proof, self-taught, self-reliant, self-victorious. I started mentoring. Saturdays at Hackbright Academy teaching Python to women of color immigrants formerly homeless. Last week one 9-year-old Maya, kicked out for pregnancy, asked. How'd you do it with nothing? I answered. Start at the library. Code one line. Then a project. Then a future. Brandon joined. He shares I got handed everything, lost it all. Now I teach kids how to hold on. Sophia films posts LinkedIn number self-built family. Weekend nights we lounge on the balcony, city lights twinkling. Sophia, I used to think family was blood. Now I know family chooses to stay. Brandon nods, I chose to stay. I smile. And I choose to keep building. Apex preps for second IPO. I've got a corner office, 45-person team, $50K annual mentor fund. Maya's first project pushed to GitHub. Brandon promoted to supervisor. Sophia's gala raised funds for Zero to Apex scholarships. The real American dream isn't Stanford or a 529. It's in those who build from zero, who rise after falls, who mentor the next to do the same. I text Maya tomorrow, we deploy your app to production. She replies, from couch to code. Thank you, mentor. I gaze at the bay waves sparkling. The future doesn't end. It just restarts, and this time I'm the coder.